With the Miami Dolphins getting a good chunk of change after June 1st, are the Dolphins going to be free agent heavy after the draft? We're going to talk about that. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, the Dolphins are going to be in a very good cap situation come June 1st. Now, yes, we are still talking about the draft this month, and I think we're going to comment below what position you want me to start with next, but I don't think I'm going to break down tight ends because there's not many. I still might if you want me to, but I think I might jump to offensive line and kind of just do it as a whole, might do tackles. I don't know. Comment below what position you want me to do next. I have a feeling you guys are going to want defensive tackle, but comment below. But yeah, after the draft, there's still there's going to be a wave of free agents that are still going to be available, and the Dolphins are going to have some money to do those things. And Barry Jackson came out and said some very interesting things, and it made me really want to talk about what the Dolphins are going to do in that second wave of June 1st money. But before we jump into that, I do have to shout out today's sponsor. You know who it is. It is BetUS. Without me rambling on too much about BetUS, let's see what they have to say.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
BetUS is a very reliable website. Again, it is a website. They do not have an app as of yet. I know some of you guys hit me up and said, the app is weird and this and that. It's just a website. Click on the link in the description. Use the promo code JOIN125. Your first 3 deposits, 125%. And it's easy to use. It's very easy to use. You got all the different sports over here. The Mets are playing today against the Brewers. Throw some baseball. You can throw some baseball bets in there. You got Pirates and Marlins. You got Rockies and Diamonds. You can come in there. You hit select. Boom. You can make your bets. If you want to do football, being that this is a football channel, we talk about football and the draft is coming up, you can select all. Instead of going in and selecting overall picks, draft pick position, Mr. Irrelevant, you just hit select all. Boom. It's very easy. First quarterback selected, we all think it's going to be Caleb Williams. Non-quarterback selected, we all think it's probably going to be, where's that right here? Or the second overall pick. That's interesting. Jaden Daniels, Drake May. One of these two guys. Is that a possibility? A lot of different options. Go check them out. Really, really good website. Reliable, 24/7 customer service, 24-hour payout. Go check them out. So the Miami Dolphins right now, as of today, are sitting at a $4.8 million in cap space. When June 1st or June 2nd comes, I think it's 18.5 they're getting from Xavier Howard, so going to jump them up to a $23.3 million in cap space after June 1st. And this is what Barry Jackson said that kind of tickled my fancy and made me want to break it down a little bit more. Let me just clean that up for you. So Dolphins are positioned to have $23 million in space by June 1st. The way they're holding the 24 cap numbers down via voided years, etc., there's no reason they can't eventually sign good players at wide receiver with Odell, defensive tackle, which is urgent, another outside linebacker, which is urgent, or right guard, whatever they don't draft at 21. He also came out and said Dolphins conveyed to at least one veteran free agent starting guard that they'll check in with him after the draft, potentially, if they're still looking for one. Meanwhile, Jadeveon Clowney, well out of Miami's price range, joins Carolina. Search for edge rusher depths continues. So it's going to be very, very interesting how that all pans out. Now, like I said, I think right now where we sit, and I'm going to make a video kind of talking about what I'm thinking going into the draft, team needs and all that stuff. But we kind of have an idea: defensive tackle, interior lineman, that third wide receiver, even though we still have Eric Izukoma. We brought back Braxton. We brought back Craig Kraft. You still want somebody that can, elevate it, someone that we know can definitely do something if the two outside guys, whether it's Hill or Waddle, is covered. We need another safety. The way the defense is probably going to work, we're probably going to run a 3 high safety set. We need another outside linebacker. We don't know when Chubb or Phillips will be back. There's a lot of areas of need that going into the draft. But the fact that we're going to be sitting at $23.3 million in cap space is going to be very interesting, because then all of a sudden they can start to make these moves. Now, like he said, Jadeveon Clowney a day ago has signed with the Panthers for 2 years, $20 million. I did not know that. Kind of slipped under the radar with that one for me. Good for him to go get that money. But Jadeveon Clowney and these vets are always available post-draft. A lot of times these types of vets like Jadeveon Clowney or Odell or somebody like that, they kind of wait. Like at this point when April starts, teams start to get ready for the draft. They start going and scouting. They put their big boards together. They draft. So right now they're hyper-focused on the draft. And the free agents kind of just sit back and they wait. I'll wait till after the draft's over and we'll deal with all that stuff. So I kind of want to talk about that, and there's some, I'm going to scratch off a name right now, seeing me do this. I didn't know Jadeveon Clowney signed the other day. There's some names still out there that pique my interest. Now, with Barry Jackson saying that he conveyed to a free agent starting guard, not a backup or anyone like that, that's interesting to me. And who could that be, right? Because Lincoln Tomlinson, he was on the Jets, but Lincoln Tomlinson also worked with Mike McDaniel with the 49ers. And I think last year we all thought that might be a possibility. So there's that. But I want to touch upon two more things before I kind of talk about possible vets that might be available come June 1st. Now, we're sitting, like I said, at 4.8. It'll go up to 23.3 when we get the 18.5 from Xavier Howard. That doesn't take into account if the possibility of Tua Tagovailoa's contract being extended before June 1st, because then all of a sudden he's due $23 million. If they restructure his contract, here's the thing. I'm going to make a video about it, so I'm just going to give you a little quick taste on it. Tua, he's going to get a new contract regardless if we want him to or not. I already gave you my piece on that. But Tua, Waddle, Holland, and Phillips are going to need contracts. Preferably the three, because Holland is a free agent after this year. You can't pick up his 5th-year option, and the other two guys you can. They all need contracts. And if you give them contract extension, you can kind of lower their cap hit this year, or you can just not touch it and have, back-ended, signing bonuses, all that stuff, which, again, I'm going to talk about in the next video, whenever that will be, probably after the draft, because this month is draft month. But a Tua contract would probably give us another 10, 13 million in cap space, which would bump up what we would have after June 1st to like 36 million in cap space. Now, obviously, they're not going to go out there. There's no free agent out there that's big enough that would demand such a crazy contract. So we would still have a big chunk of money to go into the next year with, or take that money and allocate it into re-signing the three guys that I talked about. Because you look at the draft, a lot of people are going to be like, Doug, you need money for the draft. I'm like 9 steps ahead of you. Because you look at the draft last year, the 21st pick in the 2023 draft was Quentin Johnson to the Chargers. His cap hit last year was $2.5 million. So you're looking at now the Dolphins have a 1st and a 2nd. They don't have a 3rd or a 4th. They have 1 5th, 2 6th, and a 7th. You're probably looking at about $8 million that they're going to need this year for their draft picks. And then you have the undrafted free agents. That's not a lot of money. They get like $1.5 million if you're like, wow, I'm surprised you made it out of the draft. We really want you. But mostly it's non-guaranteed type of money in your camp body. So you're looking at $8 million. So again, even if we don't give Tua the contract extension before June 1st, they're looking at like $15 million in cap space. And then if they give him the contract extension, like I said, you can add 13 on there. You know what will be. So I honestly think that what the Dolphins are doing is they're going into the draft with BPA on their mind. And I posted a tweet that I thought was interesting because one of the NFL.com articles, one of the gentlemen proposed this trade with the Green Bay Packers, and I thought it was very interesting. So essentially, I said, like, say Latu, JPJ, and Mims are still on the board, and this trade is proposed to you, where essentially we would go from 21 to 25, we go back 4 spots, and obviously we would want to know Green Bay is not taking one of the 3 we like. So let's say we do like either Latu, JPJ, or Mims. We'd have to know Green Bay's not taking one of them. So that's 2 more picks until we're up. You're guaranteed to get one of the 3 guys you like. We would give them a 5th, and we would pick up a 3rd. So now we would have a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, no 4th, no 5th, 2 6th, and a 7th. Much better. I would do it because in that situation, we would still get one of the 3 guys we liked. So I think that the Dolphins are going into the draft BPA. And I think they are going in that way, especially if they're going to keep track on some of these free agents. Because coming out of the draft, they're going to have money. So whatever they don't address in the draft, say we're in a situation where Latu's sitting there and JPJ's sitting there and, you know, whoever else is sitting there, and the Dolphins are like, Latu has more upside. We need him more. JPJ, he's going to be a great center, but blah, 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 this or that. And they go Latu. And in the second round, they get Frazier, which again, I'm going to talk about, and he sticks in the center position. Then all of a sudden, you know, we do whatever in the 3rd, like say we, you know, do this trade and we do whatever in the 3rd, get a safety or whatever, or we don't get a safety, right? Say we don't get a safety. We can't pick up a safety. We can't pick up another wide receiver, or the guys we pick up later in the rounds, they're kick returners, which is a possibility. Again, video ideas, I'm telling you all of them because of the new kick return. So your 6th, 5ths are going to be preferably wide receivers that can just kick return. But it changes everything because now we have money. We can come out of the draft. Hey, we didn't hit on a safety. We didn't hit on a guard. We didn't hit on whatever, right? Coming out of the draft. We need to work on these things. All of a sudden you look and Justin Simmons is still out there. Julian Blackmon's still out there. Odell Beckham's still out there. Dalton Reisner, Lincoln Tomlinson, all of these guys that the Dolphins can now go out, sign 1 or 2 of them, and then fill in the spots that they couldn't in the draft. And I kind of, now their contract structuring, and Barry Jackson talked about this, with those voided years kind of sucks because it's like you're already paying them for those voided years, and you know it's a nightmare, and to explain it is even more of a nightmare. But they are going into this draft knowing coming out they have money. They have a lot of money. And there's still good free agents out there. The fact that Justin Simmons is still available. The fact that Odell is still available. Now, Dalton Reisner didn't have a great year last year, but he could be a very viable competition at guard. You know, there's still guys out there. And again, there's Connor Williams. Say post-draft, say June 1st, you know, getting ready in between OTAs and mini camps into training camp, Connor Williams is like, okay, I'm good to go. I want to sign somewhere. The Dolphins could be like, well, we have $30-something million in cap space. We would love to have you back. There's so many possibilities. Like the amount of possibilities that the Dolphins put themselves into because of having this money in the back end of everything is just crazy good. Because there are still very good, viable vets that can come in and not just be backups, but can help the team. Now, defensive tackle-wise, I don't think so. So if there is like a legit DT at 21 or 25, if we trade back, or 27 and with the Cardinals or whatever, they might take him. Or, you know, if I gotta look up his name because it's going to bother me. But if there is another defensive tackle, now I don't know, he had a very good pro day and he had a very good combine, so I don't think he's going to be there. Brendan Fisk, they have him ranked 39. I don't think he'll be there at 55. I would love it, because then all of a sudden, again, you go out and you get Latu, then you get Fisk. All of a sudden you're like, well, we need a guard or something. You got Dalton Reisner, or hey, we need a guard. You can go Connor Williams, and then you can move Brewer somewhere. There's so many possibilities, and the Dolphins kept their possibilities open with the way they structured Xavier Howard's contract to get the money post June 1st. So they have a lot of options, a lot of options, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this draft pans out. I already got my draft hat. Came today. I can show you this side. It says "Go Dolphins" because Fins Up is taken by Margaritaville. And yes, it is a flex. I don't like fitted hats. This technically is fitted. You know what I'm saying? It's a flex fit because they bend the rim, and I like my rims bent. But yeah, comment below. Let me know what you think about the fact that the Dolphins can have dinero come June 1st, and what do you think they should do with it, and what do you think they will do with it? Comment below. I will see you guys in the next one, but like usual, stay classy and Fins Up.